Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Nō mai, haere mai ki te akoranga. Welcome to our session today where we are going to go through the process of submitting your RS7. Before we submit your RS7, we are going to go through some checks and balances of things you might like to review. So to submit your RS7 and to first check your funded hours report, come to Reports, come down to MOE Reports, and now select RS7 Return Funding. We need to make sure that the funding date is March 2023, as that is the date that your payment will be made by the ministry. Now, when we're looking here, we've got the print mode of funding hours. We also have the likes of the override rate and pay parity options on the screen here. This is not related to submitting your RS7. If you're wanting to opt in for pay parity or anything like that, you do that through the process of submitting your RS7. These options here is just for you to play with, different scenarios, like if your service was at 100% and what your funding summary would be. When we're talking about submitting your RS7, these fields don't apply. We have got some reminders up here to make sure that you've updated your centre calendar. So to check your centre calendar, come to centre and now come down to calendar. Just a reminder that InfoCare Solutions, we populate the national public holidays for you. You do need to populate any other closure days, such as regional public holidays, emergency closures, etc. That's what you need to do in your centre calendar, is update for any day that you're not operating when you would normally be. So that's what that point's about. Coming back to our reports, MOE reports and RS7 return, you need to make sure that you've got child daily sign-in sheets for each day created in your service. Also, staff timesheets, with the exception of home-based. If you're a home-based service, you do not need staff timesheets in InfoCare. So one way that we can check that we've got them for every day is basically using our funding hours report. We've got March 2023. When we click print, this is going to highlight if there's any missing information. So we can see that there is some missing information. While you're having a look at your funding hours report, what you can also do is make sure that you are not overclaiming your funding. So you can see the total funded hours column here. You need to make sure that you're not claiming any more hours than you're entitled to. How many hours are you entitled to claim? It is basically your licensed number of children multiplied by 6 hours. And that's the maximum amount of hours you can claim on any one day. So reviewing the funding hours report, we can see where we've got the issue, which is for Friday the 13th, where we've got child daily sign-in sheets, which is indicated by funded child hours, but we don't have any staff timesheets for that day, indicated by no staff hour count. So while we're in our demonstration system, I'm just going to go through and correct that. So when we come to our staff timesheets, for example, we've got day 13th, and I'm just going to quickly click create. What you would be doing is also checking the staff timesheet for that day to make sure that you've got all of your staff working what they worked on that particular day. Great. Now, when we come back to our reports, our MOE reports and RS7 return, the last reminder is about reviewing an action in your frequent absence report. We did run a webinar in 2022 regarding frequent absences to help our clients understand and unpack frequent absences. Now, if you haven't seen that video or weren't able to attend the webinar, you can easily get to it by first coming to our website, infocaresolutions.co.nz. And then when you scroll right down to the bottom of the screen, what we've got is a little YouTube icon here. This will take you directly to InfoCare Solutions YouTube channel. You'll notice too that it has opened up another tab, so we've still got everything available to us. Now, when you're in our channel, what you're looking for is our Introduction to Frequent Absence Rules. This is about a 30-minute webinar And it takes you through from month 1 through to month 4, looking at the funding handbook, etc., what your requirements are to be when you're reviewing your frequent absence reports. So that's what that reminder there is, that you've reviewed and actioned your frequent absence reports. When you think that you're ready to submit your RS10, you've done all of your checks and everything like that, all you need to do is simply click Submit RS7 to MOE. What we're doing is we're just reviewing the message presented by the Ministry of Education and clicking Continue when you're ready to carry on. What we're presented with here is your funding hours table, which we have already had a look at when we were doing our checks and balances. So this is where you're giving the ministry your funded child hours and your staff hour count by day for the whole funding period. You'll notice there's nothing like funding rates or anything like that. It's quite simply the data that's taken from your child and your staff daily timesheets. You'll also notice that there's a discretionary hours table. So this is where InfoCare will be submitting the discretionary hours table that you've used to the ministry if you have used any discretionary hours. And just a reminder that you've got 80 discretionary hours per funding period to use when you have an absent registered teacher and could not get a certificated teacher to relieve. Down here, we're looking at the advanced days. So these are the days that you'll be operating in the coming months, which is why it's important that you update your centre calendar for any other closures. Once you're happy with that information, click Continue. Now, this is about the attestation for certificated teachers' salary. And down here is the explanation of what each of the steps mean. So no steps is that you are not meeting the funding conditions related to the salary scale. Step 1 is where you are paying at the base rates. Step 1 to 6 is where you are paying at the pay parity rates from steps 1 to 6. And steps 1 to 11 is where you are paying the extended parity rates for your teachers' salaries. You select specifically what is for your service. In this instance, I'm just selecting step 1. Now click Continue. We've got a disclosure here, which is presented by the ministry. So you need to read and make sure that you understand what you're disclosing and what you're submitting to the ministry. Once you've reviewed this message, type your name in here, your contact number, and your designation. Once we scroll down, are you ready to submit your RS7 to the MOE? Yes, I am. Now you're presented with one final message where it says that you have sent your RS7 to the ministry, and you can click print the print one now if you would like to save a copy for your records. So to check that you have submitted your RS7 return, come across to Utilities and come down to File Download. When we're looking through our list of downloads, what you're looking for is the RS7 return for March of 2023, and we can see when it was submitted. Ka kite, kia pai tō rā. Take care and enjoy your day.